What's going on, YouTubes? Time for another recap. It was a fantastic long call day here. So if you watched the last YouTube video, we discussed over under the beautiful 50 SMA daily, which we may or may not have accidentally deleted here. We'll put it right back on here. Simple MA to the 50. And that buddy is red. We like it dashed. All right. So that last video, we said the 50 SMA over under and 100 EMA over under on the SPY. If we opened up in that gap down, chase down the 100 EMA on the QQQ, head over to that SPY chart. We also talked about shying that 100 EMA on the SPY. So it could open up if futures drug us off the night. If not, it will hold up the Fibonacci range we have here and then head back up to the moving averages. That's what we call for the long, right? So if you missed that last video, we'll link it in the description on the prediction and how we figured all this out. So what I do for my team is we make some pretty pictures here, and we'll go over the pictures here in a sec. For today's, if I can get over here. Oh, that's why it's being ridiculous here. There we go, 5 minutes. So yesterday, real quick, we had the over-under set, and I told my crew if we go under the pre-market low, under the algo, we're going to slam down into the 1618. That was going to be about 583. And then on SPY, 580, right? Then there's a bunch of different algorithms and fibs that we went over in the last video. And the biggest takeaway from the last video, we talked about price action inside Fibonacci algorithm zones. So when we do a high-low Fibonacci on a pre-market algo candle like this guy right here, we expect price action to fill end to end on this algo candle, okay? There's a really big discrepancy here. So pay attention. When we get zoomed in real close, we covered in the last video that we shy. We left a tiny little couple cent sliver right here, 591.16 on the top. On the bottom, we also did that, but like I told my crew yesterday, if it does go out of the pre-lows, we're going to snap into the bottom range of that fib, come to the 1618, 583, and that'll be about it. And then we had a 580 target of the fib on the purples. Again, last video will be in the description if you want to check it out. Now, this was left open, as we discussed, the top of this algo. So today, if, and my crew knows this very well, if price action comes inside the algo zone, here's that same algo from pre-market yesterday. Anything above 586, I told my crew was long. I said there was a few fake long pushes here in the pre-market this morning. And then I'll give you the oscillation indicator again for sentiment on the day. It was all to the RSI on the 5 minute as we are day traders. Now, notice when the open pre-market here, right, you start looking at your RSI there. We noted that we have a hot RSI, and then every time it tried to get to that oversold blue cool level under 30, it got picked back up immediately on the RSI, okay? And then it started trending on the top channel right here after 7 a.m. So we spent most of our time in the top channel, small little dip right there. Underneath, getting a little bit of confirmation of strength, and especially the algos trying to jerk you around underneath that 100. So what it looks like here is you got that base, you got the base, nice double bottom, comes down, base, that's a triple, right? See the three? My fat head in the way? Nope. All right, so this algo came down, pushed a little bit, and this is an algo candle. It's not a very big one, so we didn't really use it because we had other stuff to worry about as we discussed in the last video. But that little push down was a fresh low, right? Hit the 200 SMA 5 minute, and that fresh low reversal is something that algorithms love to do, right? Here's an example of another trend: up, base, highs, base, higher high, fail. Okay, trend was destroyed. Okay, and things come in threes as well as the market. 1, 2, 3, big 1, 2, right? Algo failed the third push, and up she went. Now, bringing it back to the RSI, we again were more hot, right? We had way more buyers pushing this up than we did sellers pushing it down. So sentiment, we were long biased above anything 586 because that was yesterday's pre-market algo. Now let's get into the fibs. In the whole video last time, we said 591.16 was not tagged, right? We just went over that. The algo top to bottom, right? Yesterday's highs, you can see in the orange dash line right there, and the white level is the fib, which means this little pocket between yesterday's highs and the top of that algo range needed to be filled with price action. And we filled the bottom side, right, yesterday, See all that price action slamming into the bottom end of this wick algo. And then today, as long as we were above that wick algo, we were going to chase down the top. So I drew this pretty picture. This is the same purple doji we talked about. Any price action above that'll go. So let's talk about algorithms and fresh low reversals one more time, so you guys can see another play that we had here. We had a big chop range here, and we had a thought process that we were going to start for an inside chop day. Not a big deal, a little back and forth, but maintenance wise, we were above in the top channel RSI, bullish. MACD way in the positive territory, bullish. And let's bring over our volatility index real quick, just for oscillation purposes. Bearish, right? Look at the RSI here, RSI trap, but don't listen to indicators in the VIX. You can't predict the VIX at all, ever. So easy read here on the volatility index as we were coming down to that deviation. -1, same with the MACD. Everything was showing you VIX lower. I also called that the VIX was going to attack a 2 of these unfilled gaps right here on our algo protocol, that they will, and it'll magnet back down. And I said, as long as the VIX, and I told my crew this right here, yesterday's lows, I said, if you get under this today, make sure to go long in the market, because once this breaks down, it's going to chase down that 16 for the algo. And we said that again live on stream. We do this. We talk through every single trade live on stream. It's how we do it in our group and the premium chats. And we do it live on screen. It's not just a Discord message. So let's talk algos one more time for the fresh low reversal. We just talked about a fresh low price action reversal in pre-market, right? Where price action broke into a fresh low, then snapped up. Well, same scenario here. Now we have an open market on the 5-minute chart. We pushed up, had a nice, beautiful ring, and I was very bullish over purple and over under the golden pocket. So my first long call was right here. I said we're coming off the recovery of the 10, 100 EMA pre-market. Not a huge deal, VWAP pre-market, but a solid support on the RSI, which was huge on that 50, and then a small seller wave on the MAC I seen coming for the push. So we longed it right out of the gate, ran the sucker all the way up to the top of the golden pocket, which is right here, 589.21. Check our other videos. We cover this daily when we do our recaps, or every few days right now with the holidays. But we're coming back next week every day, and tomorrow, noon, free lesson, show up. So the fresh low stop out pushes up into that +2, into the golden pocket, comes down, boop, okay, matches, okay. Now let's look here. When the price action came down, this is what algos like to do with moving averages. They're magnets, right? See that 100 EMA? That's my favorite moving average in the green right there. So you got, again, base, a little bit of a low, came up, did that run. Big old fresh low, stop loss eater, right? So if you're long in the bottom of the day, sends a wick to knock everybody out for whatever reason. They put a stop at flat. They don't understand hard open closes, or algos. So we call those magnets. So the price action had to magnet to a massive support, the 100 EMA, before it trailed back up. And now this tight consolidation range before the breakout, we said this was going to be a false sell wave. And then, of course, later on was going to be a false sell wave. I said they were going to shake these waves off. No worries. RSI is looking good. We have our magnet target. And I like to draw pretty pictures for our chat. And I said anything above the 50 right here with conviction and confirmation. Look how green that is. We said we're going to make it up to, obviously, the top algo. We've covered it a million times. It's trying to make this viewable here. There we go. So I put these over under levels. And a lot of times I'll say, all right, chat, this is a really big proxy level, huge over under right here. Tons of stuff goes on. And I'll draw a picture like this. And I'll say price action underneath this is extremely bearish. Price action above it is extremely bullish. And we have a price target. So I'll draw the green bar from entry to exit for our class and for our team, right? So it comes down and we do this live again. 100 EMA hits, fresh low, pushes back up, and then hits that higher high. That was the magic there. So it broke out a little bit past those resistance plays that it had. Okay, trend is friend, right? RSI is on the top channel. Trend is higher low, higher high now. So this consolidation was all buyable, and then whoop, went, and then of course called it, snap, right in. And I told my crew this is going to be that late day long. Stick to it, stick to the long. We're going to have a great day. And then I told them to tackle the moving averages, the daily moving averages, that is. So we don't have them on here. Let's see if I can get them up here. I have to reset real fast because I have so many versions of this on the new MacBook. There they are. So with the reset here, the moving averages here, 10 SMAs in the blue, 50 SMA is in the red, like always. So the SPY, like we said in the last video, if it does not drop and the futures drag this underneath the 100 EMA, we get a panic sell, we will come back and test these moving averages, 10 and 50 again, either today or coming into next week, no problem. Well, we had a little bit of a boost up today. We had a perfect RSI and MACD set up for the trend, and we picked a beautiful golden pocket level, and all thanks to this little algo pre-market right here, this little blip guy that had both QQQ and SPY in the exact same area, gave us that long aptitude to get up to. This was my final target, and I said anything above this, even this was kind of bonus round. I said my first target was golden pocket. This was my extended target, and then if it starts to blow the top off, look for the moving averages. We hit not one, but two, but all three awesome targets. And we were long back here in pre, and then of course there's no such thing as like buying the perfect bottom, running it up 56 points, but we did at least have trend, and we caught at least, what was it, five greens, one stop flat. It was like an $80 green. Regardless, we ended the day a little over about 4,600 for me at the end of the day, with a little bit of the longs on the large account as well. So all of those long calls, again, were predicted in chat with the volatility index during live trading sessions. I'm gonna move these windows back over now. And this will solidify us up for the next prediction. So I'll give you one more prediction here. Since we shied away that 100 EMA, we talked about a couple things, right? The RSI starting to slip those lower highs, breaking through, but then we started to see today and yesterday, higher low, right? So a little bit more divergence there, where we got a fresh low on this yesterday's red candle, right? And then today snapped way back up to the moving averages. Now, we talked about a scenario where the SPY left a gap up here at 598, right? And I said, well, if it doesn't go past the 100 EMA and we don't click into the 100 EMA and it shies it, we're going to run all the way up here. And that could be our third lower high, because everything comes in threes, not intraday, 5-minute, 15, daily. All of them, not just one, all of them can find threes, okay? So if this is our all-time high and the Powell wash was down number one, right? Technical wash down number two, and if we run back up to fill here for another lower high, down number three comes to the 100 EMA, and maybe we correct a little farther, and who knows? Doesn't really matter. Until we get there, we get there. We're not going to far out predict that, because there's no point. Because right now the predictions will stand that anything above the 10 SMA in 50 will now move to 598 and probably close to 600. So we are back onto the bullish train at the end into the first week of January here, excuse me. And I think if we do not reject here, because this is now an over-under level, there's no guarantee here. We're not talking, hey, this is a, buy this right now, it's guaranteed, so on and so forth. No, not the gap finder. I was trying to get rid of this stupid volume indicator that's... Yeah, whatever. We'll figure it out later. It's encapsulating these candles with this big gray box. It's annoying to look at, but we're going to use this as an over-under, okay? So essentially, just like we utilized the Fibonacci algorithms in yesterday's pre-market, we will utilize these big daily moving averages we see here on the 10 and the 50 for continuation up to 598 on SPY. What does that look like on Qs? Real fast. For the Qs recap and update, we said the exact same thing for Qs. I draw these targets again for the class and the crew here. Bounced off that 100 EMA, came up. We have that little drawing right here. Anything above the golden pocket top was going to go again to right here, which we called the top of the algo, 517 pretty much for the Qs. And we also said, take profit here, ride it up. And then again, best case scenario was daily moving averages. And here's your 10. All right, so for the Qs, that's going to look relatively similar, as Qs is kind of a little bit of a front run here. We got a further low, and remember our X post over there. If you want to give us a follow over there, we do some predictions here or there for free. Not always, because we do have a private group that we attend to the best we can, because they are amazing. And nothing in this world is free if it's great, right? So the shy of the 50, we predicted the 50 tag in the Qs, and now same scenario, my friends. If the 10 SMA becomes a support because the 50 has already bounced, and we don't get stuck under the 10 moving towards that 100 EMA following suit, well, the MACD will kind of shy away from that zero line. The RSI doesn't look quite as good here on the daily as it does SPY, but SPY is a better market to follow. So regardless, we're going to follow it to the upside. Now, over the 10 SMA, I think we're just going to get that continuation push back up, and it's just going to follow SPY. And as high as Qs potentially go, they can go one-to-one. They can have divergence. They can have, obviously mass divergence where Qs is pushing at all-time highs and SPY was just kind of trailing lower highs, as we've seen in the last couple months. So no big deal there, because the intraday trade now that we're going to look for is anything above that 10 SMA daily pushing back up. And even if it is a third lower high, it doesn't matter to us. A nice green day push back up to chase down SPY's gap on the daily that we just covered is the plan. If any of this sounds good to you and you want to join us in the chat, the link is in the description. We have a private Discord. We stream every day. Be my partner, Connor. And if that sounds great, come on, join the stream. We'll see you there. If not, We'll see you on the next YouTube video. Take care.